In the summer of 1963, Chicago buzzed with anticipation as Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. prepared to deliver a powerful labor speech. The city, known for its vibrant cultures and diverse communities, was also a place where struggles for equality took center stage. Dr. King's presence brought hope and inspiration, especially to those fighting for workers' rights and racial justice. The civil rights movement was gaining momentum, and this speech was a crucial moment in rallying support for change. As thousands gathered to hear his words echo through the air, they felt an electric energy, a sense that they were part of something larger than themselves. Dr. King's voice resonated with passion as he spoke about the importance of justice and equality for all people, regardless of their race or background. He highlighted the need for fair treatment in the workplace, calling upon both workers and employers to unite in the fight against oppression. Among those listening intently was Frankie Dean, a 44-year-old factory worker who dedicated his days to cleaning bathrooms in a large manufacturing facility. Frankie had faced many challenges throughout his life, but he held on to a dream of a better future, a future where all workers would be treated with dignity and respect. Inspired by Dr. King's message, he had taken the brave step of writing a heartfelt letter to him, sharing his hopes and struggles. After delivering his rousing speech, Dr. King's commitment to his cause didn't end on stage. He understood that real change happened not just through speeches but through personal connections and empathy for individuals like Frankie. It was this understanding that led him to stay behind after the event, an unexpected decision that would soon lead to an unforgettable encounter in an alley that would leave everyone astonished. This moment would become more than just a meeting. It would symbolize hope amid adversity, and show how one person's kindness could impact another's life profoundly. Frankie Dean was a 44-year-old man whose life revolved around hard work and perseverance. Each day, he spent long hours in a large manufacturing factory, where he was responsible for cleaning the bathrooms. While many might not have thought much about this job, Frankie approached it with pride, always striving to keep the space clean and welcoming for his fellow workers. However, his role brought its own set of challenges. Living in a bustling city like Chicago, Frankie faced daily struggles that weighed heavily on him. He often felt invisible among the bustling crowds, just another worker in the shadows. This sense of invisibility, and the long hours took a toll on his spirit. He sometimes wondered if his labor made any difference at all. Nonetheless, Frankie held on to a dream. He yearned for a future where all workers could be treated with dignity, respect, and fairness. Despite his circumstances, Frankie possessed an unwavering hope for change. He believed that everyone deserved equal opportunities and rights, regardless of their job or background. Inspired by stories of others fighting for civil rights, he decided to voice his thoughts and feelings in a heartfelt letter addressed to Dr. King. In it, he poured out his aspirations for a better life, not just for himself but for all people who work tirelessly without recognition. As he sat down to write, Frankie reflected on the struggles many faced in factories and workplaces across America. His words expressed longing for acknowledgement and a call for justice that resonated deeply within him. When he learned that Dr. King would be speaking nearby, Frankie seized the chance to send his letter with hopes that it might reach someone capable of inspiring change. Little did he know that soon after Dr. King's powerful speech, their paths would cross in an unexpected way, one that would leave an indelible mark on both their lives and highlight the power of connection amid struggle. With his heart full of hope, Frankie Dean sat down to write the letter that would connect him to Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. He chose a quiet moment at home, feeling inspired by the stirring words he had heard from civil rights leaders. He carefully penned his thoughts, pouring out his feelings about the struggles he faced as a factory worker and member of a marginalized community. In the letter, Frankie began by sharing his pride in his work, even when others overlooked its importance. He wrote about the long hours he spent cleaning bathrooms, emphasizing how each task was vital for maintaining a clean environment for his coworkers. Yet, beneath this pride lay a deep yearning for recognition. He wanted to be seen not just as a janitor but as a valuable part of the workforce fighting for dignity. Frankie expressed his frustration over the unfair treatment that many workers endured daily, especially those in low-paying jobs like his own. He shared stories of fellow workers who struggled to support their families while facing discrimination and inequality on the job. His words reflected a desire for change, urging that everyone deserved respect and equal pay no matter their role in society. Throughout the letter, Frankie conveyed a message of unity and hope. He called upon Dr. King to continue leading the fight for equality and justice, not only for those like him but for all people striving for a better life. "If we stand together," he wrote, "we can make our voices heard." He ended the letter with an earnest plea for Dr. King to keep pushing for change and a heartfelt thank you for inspiring people like him to dream of a brighter future. As Frankie folded the paper and placed it in an envelope addressed to Dr. King, he felt a sense of determination wash over him. Little did he know that this small act of courage would soon lead to an extraordinary moment that would forever change his life, a moment filled with connection and kindness amidst their shared struggle for equality. As the crowd began to disperse after Dr. King's powerful speech, an electric anticipation filled the air. The message of hope and unity still lingered, but for Frankie Dean, it was the moment he had been waiting for. His heart raced as he made his way toward a narrow alley just off the main street, where he had been told Dr. King would be waiting to meet with those who wished to speak directly to him. Frankie stood at the mouth of the alley, feeling a mix of excitement and nervousness. He could hardly believe that he would soon be face to face with the man who had inspired him to write that heartfelt letter. As he peered into the dimly lit space, he saw Dr. King surrounded by a few close aides, engaged in conversation but also taking time to greet those who approached him. When their eyes finally met, Frankie felt an overwhelming sense of connection. It was as if all the struggles and hopes he had poured into his letter were now converging in this singular moment. With each step he took toward Dr. King, memories of long days at work and dreams of equality flooded his mind. He cleared his throat, trying to steady himself even as his emotions surged. Dr. King turned his attention fully to Frankie, a warm smile breaking across his face. "Hello there," he greeted with genuine interest, immediately making Frankie feel seen and valued. The atmosphere around them faded away. It was just the two of them now, sharing a moment that transcended their different backgrounds. With shaky hands, Frankie began to express his gratitude for Dr. King's work and share his own experiences as a factory worker. The words flowed from him as if they had been waiting to escape for years. The anticipation transformed into an exhilarating realization. This meeting was not merely an encounter, it was a powerful affirmation that every voice mattered in the fight for justice. In that alley, surrounded by the noise of a bustling city yet feeling perfectly isolated in their conversation, Frankie's heart swelled with hope and inspiration as Dr. King listened intently, embodying the very change they both sought in the world around them. As Frankie and Dr. King continued their conversation in the alley, a palpable sense of warmth and connection enveloped them. The hustle and bustle of the city seemed to fade away, leaving just the two of them immersed in a moment of genuine understanding. But then, something remarkable happened that would leave all witnesses speechless. After listening intently to Frankie's heartfelt recounting of his struggles, Dr. King paused thoughtfully. With a serious yet compassionate expression, he reached into his pocket and pulled out a crisp piece of paper, the very letter Frankie had written him. He had carried it with him ever since receiving it, a tangible reminder of the voices fighting for change. "I want you to know," Dr. King said, his voice firm yet gentle, "that this letter is not just words on a page, it represents your courage and your fight for dignity." He held it up for Frankie to see before folding it carefully and placing it back in his pocket. Then, in a surprising gesture that stunned everyone around them, Dr. King stepped closer and extended his hand toward Frankie. "Let's stand together," he declared earnestly, gripping Frankie's hand tightly. This simple act was profound. It symbolized solidarity between an influential leader and a dedicated worker who felt invisible in society. Dr. King raised their joined hands high in the air as if to say that together they could overcome any obstacle. Onlookers nearby watched in awe as this powerful moment unfolded. Witnesses recognized instinctively that something significant was happening, a shared recognition of humanity in the midst of struggle. For Frankie, this gesture was life-changing. He felt seen at last, not only as a factory worker but as an important participant in the larger human rights movement. As they stood there united against injustice, time seemed to freeze in that alleyway. It became clear that Dr. King's impactful gesture had changed lives, not just Frankie's or even those surrounding them, but resonated with countless others who yearned for hope and justice across the nation. In that moment, both men understood that every individual had a role to play in shaping a better world. As Dr. King's hand clasped Frankie's tightly, and their joined hands rose high, a wave of emotions washed over Frankie. He felt a mixture of astonishment, joy, and disbelief all at once. It was as if the weight of his struggles had suddenly been lifted, replaced by an overwhelming sense of validation. Never before had he felt so seen and appreciated. Standing beside such an esteemed leader made him realize the power of his own voice. Frankie's heart raced as he processed this unexpected moment. Here was a man who had inspired millions, standing with him, a factory worker who often felt invisible in his own life. The significance of Dr. King's gesture struck him deeply, causing tears to well up in his eyes. This simple act of solidarity transformed something inside him. He understood that he was more than just a janitor. He was part of a larger movement for justice and equality. At that moment, all the years spent feeling overlooked and underappreciated faded away, replaced by a newfound sense of purpose. Frankie began to grasp that every contribution mattered, no matter how small it might seem in the grand scheme of things. Dr. King's recognition rekindled his hope that change was possible, not just for himself but for countless others who shared his struggles. As they stood together in that alley, surrounding noises faded into the background. It was as though time had stopped. Frankie felt an unshakable bond forming between them, not just through words but through their mutual commitment to fight against injustice. He realized Dr. King wasn't just advocating for rights. He was showing people like Frankie that they were worthy of dignity. This encounter ignited a fire within Frankie. His determination to stand up for himself and others grew stronger. He left the alley that day with a renewed spirit, feeling empowered to advocate for change and justice in his own life and within his community. This meeting had changed him forever, leaving an indelible mark on his heart and mind, a reminder that everyone can make a difference in the fight for equality. In the days and weeks following his meeting with Dr. King, Frankie Dean felt a renewed sense of purpose that permeated every aspect of his life. The overwhelming feelings of validation and empowerment did not simply fade away. Instead, they transformed into actions that would ripple through his community. Inspired by Dr. King's message of hope and solidarity, Frankie began speaking out more boldly about the struggles faced by workers like himself. At the factory where he worked, Frankie started organizing small gatherings with his fellow employees. He encouraged them to share their experiences and frustrations, fostering a sense of unity among those who often felt marginalized. Slowly, a community formed where workers discussed their rights, hopes for fair wages, and the importance of being treated with dignity. Frankie's determination sparked conversations that had long been silenced by fear and despair. Word about Frankie's efforts spread beyond the factory walls. Other workers from nearby industries began to join their groups, inspired by his bravery. They organized meetings to discuss strategies for advocating for better working conditions and fair pay. Frankie's story of meeting Dr. King resonated deeply, instilling a belief that they could collectively fight for change and demand respect. As they came together, something remarkable happened. Workers who had once felt invisible began to realize the strength of their voices when united. They formed a network of solidarity that inspired others in the community to stand up for their rights as well. Frankie became a beacon of hope, demonstrating that even one person's courage could ignite a movement and bring about meaningful change. News outlets picked up on the story of Frankie Dean's encounter with Dr. King, further amplifying his message. His experience became a source of inspiration for many across Chicago and beyond, a reminder that everyone had a role to play in the ongoing fight for justice and equality. Through his commitment to solidarity and activism, Frankie transformed not only his own life but also the lives of those around him. His actions represented the idea that real change is possible when individuals come together, united in their quest for dignity and fairness in the workplace and society at large. The legacy of that single encounter with Dr. King continued to resonate long after their meeting, fueling hope and determination in the hearts of many. Dr. King's actions that day in the alley extended far beyond a simple meeting. They captured the essence of the ongoing struggle for civil rights and dignity in labor. By taking the time to acknowledge Frankie Dean, a factory worker who felt invisible, Dr. King highlighted the importance of every individual in the fight for justice. This moment served as a reminder that the struggle for equality was not just about prominent figures, but also about everyday workers whose voices often went unheard. The handshake between Dr. King and Frankie symbolized solidarity, a message that reverberated through communities and inspired countless others to stand up for their rights. It underscored how critical it is to recognize the humanity in everyone, especially those in low-paying jobs who contribute significantly to society yet receive little acknowledgement. The ripple effects of this gesture encouraged workers across various industries to advocate not only for fair wages but also for respect and dignity in their workplaces. In today's context, Dr. King's actions resonate profoundly as we continue to see movements advocating for labor rights and social justice. The principles he fought for remain relevant, reflecting ongoing struggles against inequality and exploitation in the workforce. His willingness to listen to someone like Frankie Dean exemplified the kind of leadership that unites people from different backgrounds, reinforcing that collective action is vital in pushing for change. Moreover, this encounter emphasizes the idea that change often starts at the grassroots level. Frankie Dean's transformation from feeling unseen to becoming an advocate serves as a powerful example of how individuals can inspire movements within their communities. It reminds us that every person has a role in shaping their destiny and the future of labor rights. As we reflect on this significant moment from 1963, we are reminded of our shared responsibility to uplift one another and fight against injustice. Dr. King's legacy compels us to continue advocating for dignity, fairness, and equality, not just in words but through action, ensuring that all workers are recognized and valued regardless of their roles in society. This enduring commitment to solidarity remains essential in our pursuit of a more just and equitable world. The meeting between Dr. King and Frankie Dean in that Chicago alley became a powerful testament to the importance of connection, empathy, and humanity in the ongoing fight for justice and equality. In a world often marked by division and indifference, their encounter highlighted how small acts of recognition can ignite significant social change. Dr. King's willingness to listen to Frankie, a factory worker who felt invisible, served as a reminder that every person's story matters, and that everyone deserves to be seen and heard. This moment encapsulated a universal truth. True progress is rooted in understanding and supporting one another. Frankie's transformation from feeling overlooked to becoming an advocate for his fellow workers exemplifies how empathy can inspire action. His journey reminds us that we all have the power to uplift those around us, creating a ripple effect that fosters unity and strength within communities. Moreover, this encounter reinforces the idea that social justice is not solely about prominent leaders or high-profile movements. It is also about everyday individuals who strive for change in their own lives and communities. When people come together to share their struggles and aspirations, they lay the groundwork for collective action. Frankie's efforts to organize his coworkers sparked a movement of solidarity, proving that even the smallest voices can contribute to a larger cause. As we reflect on the significance of Dr. King's actions and Frankie Dean's courage, we are called to remember the importance of empathy in our daily lives. By supporting one another and recognizing the humanity in everyone, we can foster a culture of compassion that paves the way for meaningful progress. The legacy of their meeting serves as a beacon of hope, encouraging us to continue advocating for dignity and justice for all individuals, regardless of their background or circumstances. In a time when challenges persist, let us carry forth the lessons learned from this profound encounter, that every action rooted in kindness has the potential to inspire change, and that together, we can create a world where everyone is valued and respected. This powerful message of connection remains essential in our ongoing pursuit of equity and unity within our society.